Before 2011's Thor became the crowd-pleasing superhero origin film that launched the God of Thunder into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the character's cinematic debut was originally conceived as a grand mythological epic deeply rooted in Norse legend. Director Matthew Vaughn was toying with the idea of making X-Men 3, and when he went into Marvel for his first meeting about it, he saw a figurine of Thor on the desk. He asked, "Are you guys going to make Thor?" They said, "We're just going to commission a script. We want to do it like Gladiator with Norse mythology and the birth of a superhero." That idea caught Vaughn's attention, and when Marvel eventually saw Vaughn's fantasy movie Stardust, they asked him to do it. Vaughn accepted and was soon prepping the film. Mark Protosevich, the screenwriter behind I Am Legend, developed a script that stayed true to Viking mythology, taking Thor's journey into a darker, more serious realm than the final film audiences saw. The original vision was quite different, an ambitious tale that was more Lord of the Rings than the standard superhero template. Protosevich's love for the character of Thor ran deep. When Marvel Studios began exploring the idea of bringing Thor to the big screen in 2006, Protosevich pitched a detailed story treatment that embraced the rich traditions of Norse mythology. Once approved, he then wrote a feature-length script that was filled with political intrigue, tragic prophecies, and the high-stakes drama of gods and giants locked in an ancient conflict. In 2007, the writer told the press, "That project is as much a passion project for me as I Am Legend. I was a comic book kid. Thor was my absolute favorite. There used to be a segment in the Thor comics called Tales of Asgard, and it's much more akin to that. It really is set in that world. It does deal with Earth. The primary focus we're taking on it is really all about the Norse myths." Vaughn was excited about Protosevich's vision, which depicted a documentary-style portrayal of Viking life, mixed with the fantastical elements of Asgard and Valhalla. Vaughn described the story as a perfect blend of mythological grandeur and gritty realism, with Thor cast out by Loki and forced to prove his worth among mortals who believe in him as a god. The film was envisioned as a sweeping epic. In the script, Thor and his companions, Loki, Balder, and the Warriors 3, journey to Nidavellir to obtain weapons for an impending war. They are ambushed by frost giants, during which Loki senses a strange kinship with them. Back in Asgard, Loki learns from the sorceress Karnilla that he is the son of King Ymir of Jotunheim. Consumed by rage, Loki manipulates Thor into killing Balder, leading to Thor's banishment to Earth. Stripped of his powers, Thor befriends a farmer, Elric, while Loki seizes the Asgardian throne. Thor embarks on a quest to reclaim Mjolnir and stop Loki's plans. After regaining his powers, Thor returns to Asgard, defeats the frost giants, and reconciles with Odin. Loki, exiled, plots future revenge as Karnilla prophesies Ragnarok. One of the major deviations from the final film was Thor's banishment to Midgard, Earth. In Protosevich's script, Thor is not sent to modern-day America, but rather cast into the Viking world, where mortals still worship Thor and the other Norse gods. Stripped of his powers, Thor is enslaved by a Viking chieftain named Bjarne, and must learn humility while dealing with human struggles and battles. This version of Thor's exile was gritty and grounded, with a more serious tone than the lighthearted humor seen in the 2011 film. Marvel loved the script, with the studio saying, "It's very much a Marvel superhero story, but against the backdrop of nothing you've seen before." However, as Vaughn recalled in an interview, Marvel Studios was still finding its footing during this time, having just placed their bets on Iron Man. While Vaughn was eager to move forward with the project, Marvel wasn't ready to commit to such an ambitious and expensive vision. Vaughn and Protosevich drafted subsequent script rewrites with a view to having the $300 million budget. Eventually, Vaughn parted ways with the project. As Thor continued to evolve behind the scenes, Marvel Studios shifted its business strategy. The massive success of Iron Man influenced the studio's direction, pushing them toward creating a shared cinematic universe that would culminate in the Avengers. Protosevich's epic vision of Thor, set entirely in Viking times and rooted in mythological drama, no longer fit the MCU's larger plans. Marvel decided to bring Thor's story into the modern world and reframe it as a superhero origin tale that would connect to the wider MCU. And the script underwent significant rewrites. Don Payne, writer of Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and the writing duo Ashley Miller and Zach Stentz, who wrote X-Men First Class, streamlined the plot, cutting many of the complex Norse elements and political intrigue in favor of a more accessible narrative. Instead of a Viking epic, Thor was reimagined as a modern fish-out-of-water story, with the god of thunder learning humility and heroism while stranded in a small town in New Mexico. The Thor that audiences saw in 2011 retained some key elements from Protosevich's original script, particularly the central dynamic between Thor, Loki, and Odin. Thor's arrogance still led to his banishment, and Loki's manipulation of events remained a crucial part of the story. However, much of the grandeur and mythological complexity was lost in translation. Characters like Balder and the sorceress Karnilla were cut, while the Viking subplot and Thor's enslavement were replaced with the more comedic, crowd-pleasing interactions between Thor and humans in the modern day. Protosevich would say, quote, "It was decided to approach Thor in a more conventional contemporary way, and the whole Viking aspect was jettisoned. Other writers were brought in with the idea of bringing Thor into the modern world. In my initial meetings with Marvel, they had been hesitant about that. In fact, I recall one executive in a meeting commenting that, now quoting the executive, "The last thing we want to do is Hercules in New York. The version that was made is a lot of fun, but it's a different vision than mine. Mine was much more about Norse mythology and Viking life and how they intertwined." Had Protosevich and Vaughn's original vision come to life, Thor might have been a very different film. An epic, tragic tale of gods and mortals filled with darker themes and a deeper exploration of Norse mythology. Thor's journey from an Old Testament god of wrath to a New Testament god of compassion and humility would have been framed in a more mythological context as a mythic Viking-era tale of betrayal and redemption. Thanks for watching.